Hello, happiness seekers. My name is Klaudia, and you are listening to the Happiness Challenge. This episode is part of the Happiness Reset campaign, where I bring you 25 bite sized episodes to inspire you to refocus on your happiness and fulfillment. In each short episode, I bring you one practical hack to create more happiness at work, in relationships, and in your own skin. Follow me on LinkedIn, join my newsletter to share what hacks you are finding useful, and to get free tickets to a webinar on the science of happiness that I'll be hosting in February. In this happiness hack, we are exploring the words that inspire. I'm joined by Tamsin Hartley, a coach and a trainer and author of one of my favorite books called The Listening Space, New Path to Personal Discovery, and also now a book of poems called Capture Moments. Welcome, Tamsin.
Hello, thank you for inviting me along.
What is your happiness in relation to those words that inspire? I mean, I'm very intrigued.
So, I think it can be really helpful to remind yourself that there are poems, pieces of prose, bits of literature that can be really inspiring. Maybe quotes, it may be quotes that you see on social media. And I think that it can be really helpful to reread those or to connect with those because they often speak to what's important to you. And I think that this can be a really powerful way and simple way to give yourself time to connect with words that inspire.
Really interesting. So, not only potentially connecting with specific words, but also maybe thinking a little bit why this is inspirational for me. What does it say about myself? Why this is attracting me? Why do I maybe need to hear certain words at a certain time? I often find that if I see inspirational quotes, it just lands at the right moment in time. But generally, poetry, words that inspire, how do they impact our well-being?
I think really because it can remind you of what's important and they can distill to an essence of things that are of value. And exactly as you said, they will mean something for you at that time. And it's a really nice way of connecting with that part of you that needs nourishing, that we talked about nourishing last time, that needs attention maybe. And there's a really, I think, rather than just reading quickly through, there's something about savoring the words and maybe even rereading the words and see if there's new insights that come from reading them again.
Fantastic. And I believe that you have a poem for us to listen to, but also, as you said, really kind of almost feel and savor the words.
Yeah, so there's a poem that I often share on that I share on the Coming to Calm course that I run. And I love it because it speaks to all the notions of mindful awareness. And so what I'll do is I'll read it through and I'm going to suggest that you just listen to the words and try and maybe your brain will try to make sense of it first of all. And then I'm going to read it again. And perhaps on the second reading, you can notice, well, how do the words land for me? Do I experience them in a different way? But it's just a poem to be enjoyed. And it's called The Second Music by Annie Lightheart. Now I understand that there are two melodies playing, one below the other, one easier to hear, the other lower, steady, perhaps more faithful for being less heard, yet always present. When all other things seem lively and real, this one fades. Yet the notes of it touch as gently as fingertips, as the sound of the names laid over each child at birth. I want to stay in that music, without striving or cover. If the truth of our lives is what is playing, the telling is so soft that this mortal time, this irrevocable change, becomes beautiful. I stop and stop again to hear the second music. I hear the children in the yard, a train, then birds. All this is in it and will be gone. I set my ear to it as I would to a heart. So I'm going to read that again and just see if the words land differently for you. Just see how you notice and experience the words. The second music by Annie Lightheart. Now I understand that there are two melodies playing, one below the other, one easier to hear, the other lower, steady, perhaps more faithful for being less heard, yet always present. When all other things are lively and real, this one fades. Yet the notes of it touch as gently as fingertips, as the sound of the names laid over each child at birth. I want to stay in that music without striving or cover. If the truth of our lives is what is playing, the telling is so soft that this mortal time, this irrevocable change becomes beautiful. I stop and stop again to hear the second music. I hear the children in the yard, a train, then birds. All this is in it and will be gone. I set my ear to it as I would to a heart.
Fabulous. Thank you so much, Tamsin. And I straight away want to go into kind of a poetry book club type of discussion, like what this line means to you. How is that? How you feel about this? What's the big meaning? But definitely for me, it's very much about savoring the ordinary moments. And I love the fact that she compares to actually listening and hearing our heart, which often, we know is in the background doing a very important job, but often we don't even hear it, isn't it? So fascinating. So that's for me, my dear listeners. I'm sure you have lots of different interpretations.
Yeah, lovely. And, don't we often strive and seek cover, perhaps from difficulty or striving to achieve goals? And how often do we just stop and listen to the second music without striving or cover?
So, in terms of words that inspire, how could we be implementing the idea of the really power on us in day to day life?
So I think words that inspire are so personal. Something that inspires me might not inspire you. I think it's about finding what inspires you. I will often say, if I'm thinking about a particular theme that seems important to me, I might Google it. I might look at poetry websites, or I might see if there are pieces of prose that have been written about, I don't know, love, for example, and just see if any resonate for me. And I think there's also something about reading out loud so that you can really savor the words. Maybe it's a piece of writing that somebody shared with you. Maybe it's a story you've read, and just gathering those quotes or gathering those poems and just allowing yourself to really connect with your feeling. It's not about intellectual exercise. It's about, how does it make me feel?
Yes, absolutely love that. And I actually, in my practice, my happiness practice, let's say, I do like pulling out different like phrases or statements or positive affirmations. So I have a box of lots of those, and I always think, okay, today, I have a tricky day, or I know that I'm already a little bit maybe anxious, and I almost use those as anchors. I will choose something, a phrase, and I'll be like, what, in the moment of a pause, in the moment when I need it, I'm just going to repeat that specific phrase to help me to deal with whatever is happening in terms of any challenges, or just craziness of daily life. So I guess that aspect of let's listen to that second music.
Yeah, and let's slow time down. And I think what's also quite nice is, if you have any particular pieces of writing that you enjoy, is to gather them and put them in a really nice scrapbook or notebook so that it becomes a special place to be.
Mm, that is a lovely idea for action. I'm definitely going to do that. I love scrapbooking, so here we go. I have another excuse to do a little bit more. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Tamsin.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
And thank you everyone for listening to the Happiness Reset campaign. I really hope that this episode and this hack has been useful for you. If you would like to learn more, you can listen to episode 51, How Poetry Can Heal Us. And as always, I would love you to share this episode with others. I would love you to subscribe to my podcast and newsletter so simply you don't miss out on any future hacks. But for now, that's it. Thank you so much for listening and have a wonderful day. Bye.